Let's do an NFC North roundup. Yeah! All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. We're 3 games in, and, we know how we feel about some of these NFC North teams, but damn it, why not bring on the guys who know exactly how we should feel about them? So we got some special guests coming on.
Hell yeah, I always love to hear from the sources, what these guys think of their team so far. 3 games deep, as I like to say, into the 2022 season, just getting the feel of it. And a lot of things get figured out, but at least we can get kind of a feel for some of these teams right now with 3 games in the books.
Yes, we got Ryan from Packernet Podcast, Micro Mike from Detroit Lions Talk, and making their debut, Zero Doinks representing the Bears. And I got to tell you, I kind of like these guys. I can't wait for Schooling with the Enemy, bring these guys on.
Zero Doinks. Before we hop in that, be sure to remember this video is brought to you by Lift Bridge Brewing Company, our favorite beer that we drink around here. It can be found in liquor stores all over the state of Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa. Hell, who knows? Maybe even a little bit into Canada. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, before we get into them, let's just give the quick rundown how we're feeling on the Vikings. Anybody who watches the show pretty much knows, but let's just quick and dirty.
Well, my quick and dirty is this. I'm happy we're 2-1. I'm not as confident of 2-1 that I really would like to be at this point. I think our defense has some holes. Offensively, there's still some kinks to work out too, but 2-1, very happy with where we are right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably closer to 1-2, but we'll take that 2-1 any day. I mean, look at last year, all the close games we could have won, but we didn't. So, damn it, you're damn right we're going to take that win against Detroit. So, they got some very good players. They got to work it out, and I think they will. So, confidence is still extremely high in Viking land.
Absolutely.
All right, let's start off with Ryan from Packernet Podcast. Let's see what those damn pesky Packers are feeling.
All right, guys, I am Ryan with the Packernet Podcast, here to give you the Green Bay Packers update. Got a little timer so I can keep it under 2 minutes. The biggest question, because most of you probably already know what the Packers are, is what is different with the team as opposed to the team you've come to know and hate. Let's start off with the offense, because the biggest question, I think, coming into the season was, are they going to have any weapons? Is the offense going to stall out? Any of those kinds of things. It's been a work in progress. My personal assessment is that everything is working except the offensive line. They're having a lot of problems. The pass blocking has been pretty suspect. The Vikings, the Bears, and Tampa Bay have been able to get to Aaron Rodgers. Whether it actually translates into pressures and sacks is sort of a different story. But the reality is Rodgers has been trying to get the ball out of his hand really, really quickly. If you look at some of his stats on, average depth of throw, it's very, very low. So the offensive line has been struggling, but I think the wide receivers are doing a great job. Randall Cobb is looking fantastic the last couple of weeks. And I think the rookies, it's just a matter of how much the Packers want to use them. Romeo Doubs has been a great receiver for a long time. The stats were essentially low because they didn't use him, right? They just wanted to go in a different direction. Once they featured Romeo Doubs, you saw what he did. He had a great day, and they're going to do the same thing with Christian Watson. If you go watch his tape, he's wide open. His speed is ridiculous. He's one of the fastest guys on the field. When he's doing jet sweeps, running laterally, he's cracking almost 21 miles an hour. So he's got some crazy speed. It's just a matter of leaning into it and trusting him. And then the defense, there's been some questions. Week 1, the Vikings really kind of picked them apart over some blown coverages. The safeties had a bad day. And against the Bears, there were some questions about the run defense. And I think that all kind of got tightened up by week 3. So, we got to see what happens moving forward with the offensive line, with the, how it materializes with the weapons and whatnot. And then the defense needs to be much more consistent. They've got the pieces, obviously, as far as pass defense. They've got the pieces for run defense. They've just got to be able to put it all together. And I think week 3 was a pretty good test of that. And fortunately, we've got some easier games coming up. So hopefully we'll be able to see the Packers at full strength and what they can actually do.
All right, there you have it. Sounds like Packers morale is still high, but I think Ryan would have been a good character in The Office. Very dry sense of humor. I kind of enjoy that.
Very dry, but smooth at the same time.
Smooth and dry. It's funny you kept talking about how fast Christian Watson was. That's great. Can he catch the ball?
Can't.
Can he catch the ball? Let's go to Micro Mike, see what those Lions are doing after the Vikings just break their heart.
Still crying.
The Detroit Lions are 1-2, and this is Mike with Lions Talk by Chat Sports. When it comes to what the fan base is, we're pretty excited still of the future of this football team. Last year one of the rebuild. This is year 2. We expect to make a jump 7 to 8 wins, be a more physical football team, running on the ground and getting some good offense in the pass game. And we've seen that so far. The Detroit Lions, number 3 offense right now in the NFL. Yes, we're sour because we lost to the Minnesota Vikings week 3. It was a gut punch, but that's just one game, and we still got 14 to go. Again, it was good to see that the Detroit Lions were fighting against the Philadelphia Eagles. We came close to winning that game, and right now they're one of the best teams in the NFL. We beat the Washington Commanders at home, and we took an L in Minnesota, and many of us thought we potentially could win it. Still, it was a hard-fought game. Just took the L recently. Regarding the Lions going forward, potentially we should be able to beat the Seattle Seahawks. In week 4, that's who we face. Get a win there. Then we go to the New England Patriots, who right now Mac Jones is not going to be playing in that game. The Lions at that point, if you can get off 2 wins, would be 3-2 heading to the bye week. We are injured big time, and hopefully after the bye week, Jameson Williams comes back and make this offense even better. So, yes, the fan base is feeling still good about our Detroit Lions, about Dan Campbell, about Brad Holmes. We'll see how the NFC North plays out. A lot of good teams in there. A lot of competitiveness that is taking place. Lions still got to prove it with wins and losses. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, Lions Talk with Micro Mike by Chat Sports. You can find me on Twitter at MicroMike85.
Micro Mike, if you're a Lions fan, how can you not watch that and just get excited?
Well, he's right. As much as that loss probably hurt against the Vikings, this is still a team that's coming along. They're peaking. They're going to be really competitive this year. I think they are going to be in the mix. So even though they lost to the Vikings, and he called it a gut punch, I think that was more of a pure nut punch.
That was a Peter punch.
Lions. It was a Peter punch. He's right, though. They're going to be in the thick of things. They got 14 more games, and Jameson Williams coming back is horrifying.
All right, final. Like I said, making their Onebar and Lupagus debut, 0 Doinks. They might not be as positive as Micro Mike was with the Lions, but I'll let you decide for yourself.
Oh, baby. Bill and Dan Doinks here from Zero Doinks, the world's weirdest Bears podcast. We are representing the Bears, and we are so happy that Onebar and Lupagus, you tell us. We listen to you all the time, and man, I screw it up each and every time. Quick summary of how the Bears season's going so far, Dan. Give it to them.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dan. Thanks for having me. Bears are currently tied for first in the North as everyone expected. I'm not good at English. We would be tied in the North with the Vikings and the Packers, and it's only up from here. Actually, we might be the worst 2-1 team in football, for being realistic. Running game is pretty awesome. I think we can all agree on that, but in terms of throwing the ball, we have reverted back to the 1920s. It's like we're just throwing a wet noodle out there. Justin Fields might be a bit concerning, but we're not ready to give up on him yet. But we're still looking at Super Bowl, right, Bill?
We are on pace for not that great at math, but I'm pretty sure we'll be 14-3 when this puppy wraps up. Number 1 seed. Sorry, Vikings. We're going to beat you twice. Kirk Cousins, can he get bigger shoulder pads? That's more concerning to me, Dan. What do you think? What do you think of old Kirk?
I'd love to see him put the shoulder pads underneath one of those checkered shirts that he wears. He looks like a dad ready to barbecue on the weekends, talk way too much about smokers. That's Kirk Cousins. He doesn't scare me as a Bears fan. I'm sorry, Vikings fans. I do love the Gophers, though.
So does Rick Filsman. So does Hams. Bears picked up 2 former Vikings players. Neither of their names I can remember. One of them has 5 tackles. One is yet to play, the wide receiver. So
Randy Moss.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's Randy Moss. Randy Moss Jr. This has been Zero Doinks with a 2022 Bears update through 3 weeks. Thank you so much.
Row the boat.
Zero Doinks.
I don't think
Love
so.
those guys. Love them. I love the fact that they don't even know the two Vikings they got, so clearly not making a big old splash whatsoever.
Preparation is much like ours, I feel.
Yeah, and also cheers to the Hams. I mean, we're all Liftbridge here, but Hams is very prominent here in northern Minnesota. Very delicious beer.
Yeah, they didn't really talk much about the Bears, but I sensed a lot of sarcasm in that 14-3 projection.
Yeah, I think Bears land, and I think they're proving it with their tone is not much to get that excited about. They did mention they're not giving up on Justin Fields, which at this point is probably a hard thing to say, and just basically saying their pass game is dog shit.
Yeah, they're very honest. I like them.
All right, the Doinks boys, Packernet podcast in Detroit. Mike, appreciate everybody hopping on. We'll try to do another one of these throughout the season, and let us know down in the comments if you're watching. How are you feeling about your squad in the NFC North?
Absolutely, and also remember this: the tiger's tongue is so rough that just a few licks could draw blood from your hand.